have been like brothers with all the miles and time we spent together. Yeah, we've seen it all. We've both seen changes in our time, busted dreams and detour signs. We keep rolling on.
Hey there, fellow wanderers, and welcome back to the Wandering Gypsy RV Life Podcast, where the coffee's hot, the road is long, and the stories are always real. I'm your host, Stan Cromlish, coming to you from the co-pilot seat of my trusty Tiffin Allegro Open Road 34 PA Birdie B with Rosie faithfully in tow. So today we have Ned LeDoux, whose song Brother Highway has now been officially licensed by the Wandering Gypsy RV Life Podcast. Ned, thank you for joining us today. Yeah, how long have you been in the music biz?
Shoot, I guess once I started getting paid, I was about 14 when I joined my first band, and
Okay.
we weren't in it for the money, and it was a band that had been around for a number of years before I joined, but I think we probably made about, I don't know, $40 or $50 a piece, to play from 9:30 to 1:30 in the morning, and we didn't play a lot of gigs. It was probably maybe a dozen gigs every year, but it was just a great place to start, and I really enjoyed it.
Okay. So was talking to Mark, and he said you and he wrote Brother Highway together. But I was going back through your dad's catalog, and I found Life is a Highway. It ain't the years, it's the miles. Then you've got Brother Highway. What is it with the LeDoux's and the highway? Tell me about that.
Well, it's just inevitable. Every album I put out, there's going to be a song about traveling. I mean, even on this new album, there's a song called Traveling Man. I had a song, Travel Alone, Open Road. But yeah, Brother Highway came from a poem that I wrote years and years ago. And when I got into, writing songs, I went through this old, this stack of poetry that I wrote. I came across this poem, and it was, it was worded a little bit different, but I just kind of worked with it. And yeah, Mark added, a couple of phrases in there, but yeah, it would really be kind of like one of the first songs I wrote by myself, and yeah, we always play it live.
Hey, I know you do. I haven't been able to catch. I caught your dad live in 1992 at Coyote Joe's in Charlotte, North Carolina. The fondest memory I have is I had my PRCA permit. I wanted to be a bareback rider. Failed miserably at bareback riding, but he signed my permit and said, "Now go fill it."
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you playing drums for him in 92?
I started in 98, but I remember playing that venue, at least 2 or 3 different times when I was with him.
Okay. Great venue. I grew up in Charlotte, so, it's a wonder an East Coast guy became a cowboy,
Yeah. Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. So your latest album's out, Safe Haven. Talk about that a minute. And I know that you're produced by Mac McAnally. He played a long time with Buffett, and he grew up in Belmont, Mississippi. I was in Belmont a couple of weeks ago, and at the local restaurant, they have about 50 or 60 pictures of Mac in the restaurant.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And a quick funny story is I grew up in Belmont, North Carolina, and it was kind of funny that I went to Belmont, Mississippi. Same spelling, same everything.
Wow. Yeah, Matt, I'm so lucky to be able to work with Mac, but there was already a relationship there. He worked with Dad on the last 3 albums that Dad put out. And the way me and Mac got kind of reacquainted was there's these song ideas, just little notes that Dad had written down, throughout the years. And when he passed away, my mom was just kind of doing some cleaning and some organizing, and she came across this box, and there's a bunch of this paperwork in there. She got to thumbing through it and realized that these were kind of like song ideas. Nothing was finished. It was just a few little notes here and there. And so she just took out maybe a dozen different ideas and made copies of them and sent them to Dad's management, and thought, well, maybe somebody in Nashville could work with these. Who knows? Instead of putting them back in the attic or putting them in the office. And and so I also got a hold of them as well and tried to work with them, but I wasn't really a songwriter at the time. But that's when Mac found out what I was trying to piece together. And so he helped me out tremendously. And the first song that I was a part of writing was a song called We Ain't Got a Doll. It's on my first album. And that's what came from the idea that Dad started. And so, yeah, Mac's been a big help ever since.
Yeah. Ned, I found you in 2017 and have been listening to your music since 2017. I've got Safe Haven. I can't tell you from your dad apart on one hand in the rigging.
Yeah. I played that song for everybody in the band individually, and they all said the same thing. It's like, are you singing the first part of the verse, or is that your dad? I know it's close. It's pretty darn close. Yeah.
Y'all have about the same. And 2 weeks ago, I saw your Facebook reel on hippies in Calgary. I'm like you. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall when Ronnie pulled his wig off.
Yeah. 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 A lot of those songs Dad wrote back then, I mean, they were true. That stuff really happened, Yeah.
Yeah. Who would have the gumption to do that? Well, it was the 70s. It was the hippie generation. I mean, but you almost have to kind of have a death wish if you do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Dad was a jokester. I mean, he liked to pull pranks on people every now and then, and he had quite the imagination on how he did it too.
Yeah, I mean, dressed up like hippies, hippies in Calgary, but also it ain't the years, it's the miles. And I mean, we've all traveled a bunch of miles. The way Brother Highway speaks to me is it's a lot like life. There are busted dreams and detours, but those busted dreams and detours sometimes and most times lead to something even better than what you expected.
Mhm. Right. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. Is you never know what's going to be over the hill, or what's around the next corner,
Right.
It's what you least expect.
Yes. So was it was the Hawk that you wrote about your dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is the song, The Hawk. It's not, because I may be mixing a song up. Well, This Old Mountain was another one.
The Mountain is more, more personal for me, but yeah, The Hawk is about Dad. Yeah.
Okay.
And my mom told me the story. I think me and my family had moved to Kansas, around that time, or maybe just a few years later. But yeah, Mom told me, she said, yeah, and my mom is outside every day, all day long, just, picking up the place. I mean, the place looks better now than it ever has because of Mom. And, but yeah, she just noticed this. She was out for a walk. She walked up to the cattle guard and she noticed this shadow along the ground. And she looked up and saw this hawk. And we don't have hawks out on our ranch in Wyoming.
No.
And, she got to thinking about it. And she said, I remember he always had these real vivid dreams that he could fly. And, if he could maybe come back to Earth, there's something else. Maybe that's him.
Yeah.
So she just kind of, elaborated on the story and told me all these details about it. And again, I wasn't into writing songs, but I kept that story kind of in my back pocket. And so once I got, 2 or 3 songs under my belt of being written, I brought that old memory back of what my mom was telling me about, and it basically wrote itself. I sat at the bar in my basement, and in like 15 minutes, it was done.
Yeah. Wow. Don't you love it when songs come like that, or when?
Yeah, I wish it happened more often. Yeah. Usually it takes me days and weeks to, come up with an idea, but yeah, that one, like I said, just kind of wrote itself.
So you're on the road, you're touring. Where all have you been, and where all are you going?
Oh, shoot. I wish I could tell you where I've been. uh, we've been all over the place. We spent a lot of time in the Northwest a few
Yep.
weeks ago in Oregon, Idaho. We're headed out to Utah in a couple days. And then we got Gillette, Wyoming coming up and Pueblo, Colorado. And I'm amazed I even know that much. But yeah. Yeah, it's
You
been
have to have you have to have a secretary telling you where you need to be, or Mark must tell you where you
just
need to
hang
be.
my calendar up in the garage or something. Yeah, we're all over the place, but it's been a lot of fun.
Good. I was watching your reel from the other day where you started now playing drums at your opening. What drove you to do that, or what gave you that inspiration? I know you
Well,
played drums for your dad.
yeah, I played drums for about 35 years, and now we got a 3-year-old boy, and by the age of he started walking at 10 months.
Okay.
And so once he was able to walk, we'd be down in the basement. I got my drums just kind of stacked up in the corner and everything like that. I'm not getting rid of those things, but he'd walk over to him and grab a drum and set it on the floor and just bang on it. I was like, okay, we might have something here. And as the time went by, I mean, he's 3 years old now. He still can't reach the pedal, but he's got the rhythm, he's got the timing, and he's creative about it. And so it's just kind of started giving me the itch to want to get back behind him as well. And so, yeah, I thought, well, maybe I'll do a little drum solo, just
it sounded great.
change it up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been fun.
So when's your next album coming out? I know you just released Safe Haven in April, but I'm sure the next one's in the works.
No. Well, Safe Haven came out first part of April, and it's just been real hard to put pen to paper, right now because we're on the road so much, and anytime I get spent at home, it's with the family and taking the kid to school and all that stuff. So there's nothing in the works for something new since the new one's not even a half a year old yet. So
okay,
yeah.
Unlike your dad, what he released 31 quote studio albums,
something like that. He released 22 on his own before he got a record deal. Yeah.
But 22 before Garth mentioned him, and much too young to feel this damn old.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And I know that, my grandpa LeDoux was Dad's manager and kind of his producer in those days. And for a number of years, Dad would just release one album every year. And, but they were selling pretty good. And so Grandpa thought, well, maybe you could start doing 2 albums a year. And so I think what Dad would do is he would put out an album with the majority of the songs would be songs that he wrote. And then he would go find like, some cover songs, like some really good cowboy stuff, and, put those together and release that as the second album for the year. And they did that for a number of years, but it kind of burnt Dad out, being in the studio like all the time and, running through these songs maybe once or twice. But yeah, once he got a record deal, he had a lot of, really good outside writers sending him some really good stuff. And he didn't really write a whole lot of songs when he got his record deal. There was just a handful that he did write, but the majority of them came from outside writers. But boy, nonetheless, they were still great records.
Great records. I can remember one of his last albums had the song "The Ride" on it, talking about the pony ride, and keep your eyes to the sky, and don't be scared. And and in that song he talked about riding through the briars and brambles of life. And I think around that time he was probably going through the illness he had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that was something about, the songs that Dad would record. He had a spiritual side to him, for sure. And so, I mean, it fit, his personality and, his spirit, with the song that he sang.
Yeah. I remember reading Gold Buckle Dreams, his autobiography. And where he was at Casper College and bucked off, and it was because he'd partied the night before, and he got behind the sheets and said, "Lord, I'm sorry. It was- Help me figure this out and let me
Yeah.
get better."
Yeah. 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 And he did. He
Yeah,
figured it out.
he did. He did. But so touring, wife and kids. I always love when you're carrying the burn stick out in your fields
Yeah.
during burning season. You
Yeah.
look like you love that and you love that smell.
I do. I mean, it can get dangerous. Yeah, I remember the first time I did it, we hadn't moved to Kansas yet, but we were down here to visit my wife's folks, and her dad said, "Hey, you want to go out and burn with us?" I said, "What do you mean burn?" He goes, "Oh, just get in the truck." He said, "Put some old clothes on and some old boots, and it'll go." We were out to this pasture, and he hands me this. They call it a gas stick, and
Right.
there's all kinds of different makes and models of them. The one that I usually carry, it's about maybe 5 feet, maybe 6 feet long, and about that big around. And it's got a cap on the top, and you fill it up with gas, and at the bottom it's got a little tiny hole where the gas just kind of trickles out. And I said, "Are you sure this ain't gonna just blow up in my hand?" You know, I need
Yeah.
these things.
You
And
gotta have them to play guitar.
right. And he said, "No, it's not in all my years of being down here doing this has that ever happened." So they just direct me. They say, "Okay, just walk down that fence line, and once you get to the corner, stop. But maybe just look behind you every now and then, and make sure that it's not getting out of control." And yeah, so those are the years that are a lot of fun when everything goes nice and smooth. The wind doesn't change direction, and we got plenty of water, and we don't run out of water. Um, yeah, that can get kind of scary when you got this big tank of water that was completely full when you started, and you still got a long way to go, and there's only about 5 gallons left.
Oh goodness. That's when you
Yeah, so
stop, right?
yeah, that's when you just try to put it out and go fill up again. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. We average probably about 3,500 acres, every year when we burn. Uh,
Mhm.
but
So
it is fun.
so what are you predominantly raising on your farm? You raising
Well,
cows?
personally, I don't have, my own, you know, stock or anything. Where we
Okay.
live in Kansas is a very wooded area. And we've got a lot of deer and pheasant and quail and all kinds of critters like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anytime my father-in-law needs a little help, I'm always happy to go help him out. But, we still got the ranch back in Wyoming though. Yeah.
Right. I was in your museum in not your museum, but your dad's museum in 23. And every time I've been in Wyoming, I missed the Chris LeDoux days by either 2 weeks before or 2 weeks after.
Oh, really? Well, darn
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And we just had the last one this year.
I know you did. I know you did, but it looked like it was a blast. Looked like there was a outpouring of support and all of that. Um,
Yeah,
and,
it was great. Yeah, the KC population, well, we were there in June. I remember seeing the sign that said 241, and
Mhm.
it bumped up to nearly 6,000 people that weekend.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, good way to
Um,
go out.
yeah, I was in KC in 23 and sat down with Larry, the wild man, Sandvik.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he still lives in KC.
yep,
Um, but no, it was cool going into the museum and seeing all the memorabilia from your dad. Um,
but you're talking about the Rusty Spur.
the Rusty Spur, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That was actually my granddad's old store.
Oh,
When he was,
really?
yeah, when he was around, yeah, it was a saddle and tack, type of store. Sold some
Okay,
ropes and some bits and you know things like that. And then when he passed away, then my little brother started selling my dad's merchandise in there, and he hung
right.
out some really cool pictures of dad in there and stuff. So it
Yeah,
is a neat store. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
and that little bar that's there. There are some cool signs on the back wall. If I'm sure you've been in that little bar there in
Sure.
KC.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I took a picture of one of them, but it's not technically legal for mixed company.
Oh, yeah. 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 There's a bumper sticker.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Is that the one you're talking? Okay.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that one's not good for. I loved it. I liked it. It was funny. I took a picture of it. But I blanked out the word when I shared it on Facebook, and then I called my mother management. She saw that bumper sticker, and she called me up and she said, "Thou shalt remove that now." I
Yeah.
said, "Yes, ma'am."
Yeah. Yeah. Only in a small town.
Only in a small town is right. I mean, I was in Elko, Wyoming, which is south of Casper,
Yep.
and population 250 in the winter. Population 50,000 in the summer. It's right
Yep.
there on the North Platte River. They say it's a dam, DAM site, because it's where
Yeah.
everybody goes to fish the North Platte.
Yeah. 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 Got Alcova Lake and Pathfinder out there.
Yep. Yep. And you got the Miracle Mile and Gray Reef sections of the North Platte down there. I go every May to fish, and the trout fishing in Wyoming, my goodness, couldn't beat it. And
Yeah.
Western Kansas, I hunted pheasant in Waukene. I don't know how far that is from you.
Quite a ways. Yeah.
It's probably further west, isn't it?
Yeah. We're kind of right in the northeast corner of Kansas. Yeah.
Okay. The
Yeah.
Flint Hills.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's one of the things I do miss about, living in Wyoming is the trout fishing.
Yeah.
You
Do
know,
you fly fish?
I've never tried it. We just do the spinners and, go up in the
Mhm.
Bighorn Mountains and just, cast it down the stream and
Yep.
bring it back upstream. Yeah. But it's fun.
think- I think you would love fly fishing, Ned. I think you would.
Yeah.
If you like
Yeah.
fishing, you'd love it.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been in years. I just the time to do it. But yeah. Yeah.
You're busy. So,
Yeah.
Well, anything you want to tell the Wandering Gypsy RV Life folks about what's going on, where to see you, where to follow you, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube?
Yeah, we're on all those platforms, and I do my best to kind of keep things updated. I'm not very good at it, but probably the best place to go is nedledoux.com because you can see
Okay.
the whole list of tour dates. And if you can't make it to a show, but you want a T-shirt or a ball cap, and all the music is available on the website. So that's, and I'm still a big fan of the physical product. We still have CDs and vinyl records. I mean, I'm not against streaming or nothing, but the CD just sounds so much better, and I can't sign a digital copy.
No, you can't
so-
sign a digital
Yeah.
copy. Hey, if I saw you, I'd ask you for it legit. But
Sure.
hey,
Well, maybe our paths across.
they will. I'm
Eventually.
looking at going to the Post at Orange Grove in Texas. That's October 20-something that you're going to have a show there.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
Yep. It's right outside of Corpus Christi. So I'm thinking I might try to make that show
Okay.
because I'm going to
Oh.
be in Texas.
Okay. Well, looking forward to it.
Yeah. But no, I want to thank you and Mark Sissel for working with me on licensing Brother Highway. That really, but as I told Mark, I said, I want to not only promote Wandering Gypsy RV Life, but I also want to promote Ned because he has great music. You do have great music.
Well, thank
Um,
you.
We ain't got it all. That's another one of my favorites. The Mountain,
Yeah.
Heck, Old Fashioned.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm at the point now, I got 4 albums out, and which I never thought I'd have this many, in such a short period of time, like since I guess 2017 was my first album,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, now trying to write out a set list is a little harder. Got all these songs to pick from, and we'll always have some of Dad's songs in there. I'm always gonna fit those in there because that's what I started off, singing when I got into singing. It was just Dad's stuff, and I never bothered learning anybody else's songs but his.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so every year when I'm trying to write out a new set list, like, okay, now I gotta take this one out, or we just add more. Eventually it's gonna end up being a 3-hour show, but I don't think we can do that.
I don't think your vocals would handle, although I did read somewhere that Taylor Swift does a 4-hour set.
Yeah, she's quite a bit younger than me though. Yeah.
Well, you're only 35, right?
That sure. Yeah. And she's 33. Yeah. No, but I think a good, 75 to 90 minutes is
Yeah.
enough,
Right.
There's only so much, the ears can take.
Yes. I'm sure you play Bareback Jack in
Yeah.
some of your shows.
Yeah.
Is 80 Years of Some Miles, you ever play that one in your shows, or is Copenhagen one of the other ones you play?
Yeah, we do Copenhagen. Yeah, a lot of those older songs, when I first started getting into, singing and started getting out and playing just solo gigs. Yeah, all the stuff that I was playing back in those days was, like Hippies in Calgary, Photo Finish, 80 Years of Some Miles, 17, and I mean, just the old stuff. And we still play some of the old stuff. I mean, Copenhagen Angel.
Yeah.
Of course, we got to play this Cowboy's Hat. That's a staple.
Yes, you do. That is, if you don't play that one, the crowd's gonna probably tar and feather you.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of interesting anyway, just to put a set list together these days, having 4 albums of my own out.
Yeah, Buckskin was one of my favorite albums by you.
Oh, thanks.
And you had a song on there about your dad's 1976 10th round of the NFR, winning the gold buckle.
Yeah, it was just the poem, the Buckskin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd written that thing. I've been working on it for a number of years, and I tried to put a melody to it, but I've always been a fan of, cowboy poetry, and I got to be, a part of the cowboy poetry gathering in Elko, Nevada for a few years. And, just a big fan of like guys like Waddy Mitchell and Baxter Black and Gary McMahon and Don Edwards. I mean, the list goes on. And I just thought, well, maybe I'll just try my hand at a cowboy, a poem, a spoken words thing. But I did add that kind of, mysterious, a lot of minor notes behind it.
Yes.
To kind of build it up.
Did. Yes, you did.
And, but that's probably one of my favorites off of that album, even though it's not technically a song, but it's,
it's one of my favorites too. Old Fashioned is I feel I'm old fashioned. As friends tell me, you're born about 100 years too late.
Yeah. 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 If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's like, hey,
No. So you went to Elko to the cowboy poetry gathering that I know happens every year. Have you been invited back again for next year, or?
I haven't seen it on the schedule. I know they have it in, I think, the first weekend of February.
Yes.
Because it used to be on Super Bowl weekend. Because I think I played it 3 years in a row, and I'd fly back home the day of the Super Bowl. So I'm having to watch the game on an airplane.
So are you a Kansas City Chiefs fan? What?
No, I'm a Raiders fan. I've been a Raiders fan since about 88.
Okay. That's the year I graduated high school.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm living in the wrong part of the country to be a Raiders fan. So We'll keep that on the down low.
We'll keep that on the down low. And you were at Cheyenne a year ago or 2 years ago when you and Garth played at Cheyenne. Was that in 23 or 24?
I think it was 23. Yeah, it was 125th annual Cheyenne Frontier Days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a hell of a day. I mean, it started off with an unveiling of a bronze statue of Dad that you can see off I-25.
Yep.
Right in front of the grandstands or whatever.
Yep.
And then we opened up for Garth that night. And then during Garth's show, he invited me to come out and we sang "What You Gonna Do with the Cowboy" together.
Right. I saw that.
Yeah. And the last time that happened was when Dad and Garth were in Cheyenne at the same time. And it was like 25 years earlier, so
wow.
I think it was the 100th annuals when that happened. And then 25 years later,
right.
I'm up on stage with Garth doing the same thing. So it was pretty neat.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I have to say is your life is interesting, Ned. It's just all the places you go, granted, I've got an RV and I go a whole bunch of places, but the people you meet and the places you sing, I love the road, love being out traveling. And Brother Highway is you in one of the lyrics is always keep my suitcase packed.
Yeah. Yeah, but the funny thing is, every time I get home from the road, I unpack my suitcase and I do the laundry and everything, and then I think, okay, now what do I need to bring? And it's always the same stuff. Why even give this much of a thought? Because you're always going to pack the same stuff,
Yeah. You're always going to pack the same hat, the same boots, the same jeans, and
everything. Yeah.
And the shirts go to the cleaners to get extra, probably heavy starch, put them on hangers and be ready to roll again.
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy, just being in the music business, being a musician, ever since I picked up a set of drumsticks when I was about 4 or 5 and, getting in my first band when I was 14 and just the places that it's taken me and the people I've met, it's a whole different group of people than who's from your hometown. I mean,
right.
you got your hometown family and everything. But then you got your family on the road and they're a whole different breed, but I love them. It's it's like a traveling circus, it's fun.
Yes. The show never ends. It always goes on.
Yep.
But Ned, thank you. Appreciate your time today. And I told Mark that I have to do one with him now I got to talk to him and not today, but this one's going to be out on Saturday.
Good.
So check it out. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. We're everywhere. Ned, check us out.
I will. I'll check out some of your past episodes too and see what you got going.
Last week I recorded one with a 10-year-old kid whose mother works here at Kickback Ranch and Event Center. He's 10 years old. He loves to fish and he has latched on to me because that's something I enjoy. And he said, "Can we record a podcast together?" So I did. I recorded a podcast with him. He's 10 years old. He talks about fishing. He plays baseball. He said, "I want to go to the University of Alabama on a baseball scholarship."
Cool. Yeah.
So I said, follow your dreams, because if we don't chase our dreams, we never know where we'll end up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
It's important. So Ned, yep. Anything you want to say to your fans?
Anything I want to say to my fans?
Yes.
Well, just thanks for all your support over the years. There's a lot more to come. And we're just having a ball. So thanks for coming out, singing along, and I'll see you down the road somewhere.
Sounds good. Keep chasing Brother Highway, Ned. Thank you
Oh.
again for your time, sir.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you later.
See ya. Before I sign off, remember, if you want more road-tested tips and stories like these, check out my new book, Rolling Smooth, How to Enjoy the RV Life Without Losing Your Cool. You can grab it now on Amazon and keep your RV life running like a well-oiled machine. And don't forget, follow the Wandering Gypsy RV Life on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube so you can see Birdie B, Rosie, and me in action. Until next time, keep the coffee hot, the wheels rolling, and your heart open to the stops you didn't plan. Because sometimes those are the ones that make the trip. And remember, not all who wander are lost.
Brother Highway, we've seen it all. Through the wind and the rain and the snowfall. And no matter how far out I roam, I need you, brother, to get me home.